know exactly what I said when I said I don't want them back. I have 20% custody. This is going to sound crazy, but I don't want my children back. It's not because I don't love them. I love them so much. I love them wholeheartedly. I love them beyond comprehension. But I don't want my children back. And I feel like I had to come over here because you guys are so sweet. And my DMs and my comments giving me reassurance that, oh, they're going to come back. They're going to, everything's going to work out and stuff like that. And I believe you. Like, everything is going to work out. However, I don't want them children back. And it's not because I don't want to take care of them or anything like that. I love taking care of them. I love raising them, but I don't want them back for another set of reasons. One, I don't have a support system. I have been raising these children with no support system. And when I say no support system, I'm not even joking. I don't have an emergency contact. When I take them to the doctor, I don't have an emergency contact. I don't have friends. I don't have family. I don't have, like, I take care of everything by myself. I don't have that. Okay? So that's one. Imagine me, one person, taking care of 3 children by myself.
I don't know if people really listen to understand or if they just listen to respond. But from what she said, those children should be with their dad. And listen, fathers are parents too. This woman obviously needs a break, a mental health break as well. She is going through something. Oh, hello everyone, and I'm hoping that everyone is in good mental health. Now, this is a TikToker. Okay, now she's a TikToker who does mommy vlogs, and she also and other things that happens in her life, life events and so on. Things that may have impacted her. Now, she lost custody of her children to her husband, her ex-husband. Now, this story is deep and has a lot of twists and turns, but before we go further, please, my people, like and share the video and subscribe to all notifications so that you can come back and indulge in more of this type of content, because this is a reaction channel, so I do this quite often. Now, let's continue.
With no support system, not even for an emergency contact. That's one. Second, I was manipulated into having my children. I was 9 months pregnant on my 21st birthday, and their dad was 33. Granted, I knew he was 32. I knew he was 12 years older than me when I met him, or at least in getting to know him, I knew he was 12 years older than me. But at 19 years old, I did not have the mental capacity and understanding to assess and realize that I was being manipulated into having children prior than I wanted to. So it was never my plan to have children at the age of 21. My plan was to finish college and go to law school. And by the time I got my bachelor's degree, my son was 6 months old, and I found myself putting off law school because I didn't want anybody else to raise him. I was manipulated into having those children. Third, which kind of goes with the second one, is one of the ways that this man manipulated me into having these children was using the whole line that, oh my gosh, she's the only person with his last name, and if he dies, the last name's going to go with him. I don't know why that was enough. But then again, I was extremely naive at the time. I was coming from so much abuse, so much trauma. I didn't know up from down, sky to ground, whatever. So he was able to use that. And with that being said, I feel like if you want to continue your legacy, if you want to prolong your legacy, then take care of the children.
Now, initially, I think I said he was her ex-husband. I am not sure about that, but either way, he is the father of 2 of her children. I think she has 3 children, but 2 she has with this person and 1 is with someone else. Now, all of that was only for context. Now, listen, clearly this woman has been through a lot. she needs to heal, and she needs to heal mentally and emotionally before making those children a priority. She needs to see a therapist. Because of how it sounds, her saying she doesn't want them back, it sounds, terrible. It sounds really bad. But I think it is very selfless of her to say that, because she knows that at this point she is incapable of taking care of those children. Clearly she said she did not have a support system and she felt manipulated into having those children. There is an emotional disconnect. And I believe that this is a cry for help, but honestly, I do not think should be ignored. Let's continue.
Because over the last however long, this man have not contributed an increment of energy towards the well-being of the boys. Like, no financial support, no physical support, no nothing. But he wanted those children to be able to prolong his legacy. Why would I continue the legacy of a deadbeat? The only, I don't even want to deal with this man. Because right now he is on my phone. He's playing on my phone. I don't even know why he's playing on my phone. Because, you have the children. You wanted the children. I took them to you. You have their birth certificate. You have their social. You have them physically. There is no reason why you should be playing on my phone, but you're playing on my phone. Because at the end of the day, it was never about you having the children. It was about you having access to me. It was about you being able to get in contact with me. And I don't have time for that. Because this man is abusive. He's not physically abusive because I beat his ass. I fight back.
Now that right there speaks to a mess this relationship seems to have been, and the things the children may have witnessed. This is ridiculous. Fighting back is ridiculous as well. Doing this in front of your children? Let's continue.
But he realized early on in the relationship that I had been through a lot, but I wasn't one of those people that went through a lot of stuff and became cold. I went through a lot of stuff and then grew in empathy. So because of that, my ability to empathize have been used as a weapon against me since the time that I met this man. Because one of the ways that he used it in the beginning was to use his mother's death as a way to connect.
Now, this is her account of the events that occurred during their time together. And this is all we have to work with because he has not said anything. So we have to, use what she is saying, but with a logical eye, make a logical deduction. But both of them seem to have been toxic. Both parents seem to have been toxic, and they put their children at risk. Let's continue.
So I went as far as to even ask, because when I say I don't want to deal with this man anymore, I've been trying to erase any type of connection that we may have. Of course, I can't erase his children, but anything else I've been trying to erase. I set boundaries. I block him. He find ways to get on my stuff. I, at some point, thought about signing my rights over just so I never had to communicate with this man ever again. And I told the judge that. Because I am not going to change who I am.
Now, you see why you have to listen? This is a very layered story. Now, she said she had indicated to the judge that she was thinking to sign her rights over to the father of her children. Given everything that had happened, she spoke of the harassment of not having financial and emotional support from the father of the children. So she had made up her mind, that she wanted the children to go with their father. Finally, a judge did their job and took appropriate action. I think this was the best decision given the circumstances. Now let's continue.
For anybody, I am not going to harden my heart because someone like this want to try to weaponize my empathy. Or want to try to weaponize the fact that I have compassion. So I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to harden So I will just remove your access.
No, going back to what she said, I think when she says, she was just going to do whatever to remove his access, I think she meant access to her. Because for as long as she had the children, he would have had access to her. Okay, let's continue.
So yeah, no, I don't want them children back. Like, I love my children. They will never need for anything. But the only way that I will go back to raising my children, and in a way that makes sense to me, is if one, I never have to interact with this man again. Two, I changed the children's last name. It's comical watching y'all talk about how bad of a mother I am, because I said that I don't want my children back the way that things were.
Now, this is a video she did subsequently, and I think she was seeking to explain what she meant, because she received a lot of backlash and so-called negative comments, but they are the opinions of strangers who you invited into your personal life. So that's it. If you don't want the interjection of strangers, just keep your personal business private, or else you'll have to deal with the various opinions that you'll receive from total strangers. That is just the way the world turns. Okay, good listening, people, because you cannot expose yourself to ridicule and condemnation and then try to regulate how people come at you. It is not humanly possible. Okay, now she is saying that she would take her children back fully because she still has access to them. You'll see later down in the video. But she wants changes. Listen, honestly, I do believe this is a response under pressure because of the optics and the way things may appear. She is saying this to save, her image. Girl, I think those children should stay with their father, at least for now. Let's continue.
And what's funny is a lot of you guys don't even, and it goes to show, because as much as I want to explain and I want to give details, I also don't. Not necessarily because I feel like some of you would understand, but I feel like for the majority of the hate that I'm getting, or the majority of the negativity, y'all are committed to misunderstanding me. You are committed to the narrative that you already put in your mind from the first 5, 10, maybe a minute of my video. Because if you watch the video in its entirety, you would get a better understanding than the comments that you guys are putting on there. So as much as I want to explain, because at the end of the day, I know who I am. I'm not explaining because I need you guys to think that I'm a good mother. I'm not explaining because I want validation for this or that. I know who I am. I have lived this day in and day out for the last 10 years. I know what I do. I know what I don't do. I know how I treat my children. I know how I don't treat my children. I know how dedicated I am to motherhood and my children. And I still stand on my statement. When I made my statement, I didn't make my statement like, oh my gosh, I don't want my children, let me go give them to somebody else. I was forced to give my children to their father. I was court ordered to give my children to their father. My children don't like conflict. My boys do not like conflict, to the point where they begged their father to stop with the whole court things that he was doing, to stop with sending cops to my house and regularly trying to do a well-being check, to stop, because this man called Department of Children's Services on me and accused me of abuse.
Well, from what we have heard so far, those children will also need to speak with someone. This is the generational trauma we speak of. And listen, no one knows if she really abused those children. No one knows, or if he was just being malicious. However, there must have been something in those reports that convinced the judge that they were making the right decision. In the best interest of the children. Let's continue.
Like, my children literally cry in situations of high conflict. And because of that, and because I've known that, and because I pay attention to that, I've always tried to make it so that things can be as amicable as possible, because I never wanted to put my children in a line of fire. If I know this makes you uncomfortable, because for example, my middle child, he has an ear sensitivity. He doesn't like loud noises. So the minute that he hears loud noises, such as yelling or something else, it could be something that he likes airplanes, for example. If there are airplanes and they're very, very loud, he shuts down. It's painful to his ears. He starts crying. So of course, if I were to have a disagreement with his father and I am yelling and I'm raising my voice, or he's yelling, he's raising his voice, that's going to cause him pain. My oldest just doesn't like conflict, period. It makes him feel extremely uncomfortable. It makes him feel unsafe. And because of that, I've always gone out of my way to reduce the amount of conflict that exists, while also simultaneously teaching him that conflict resolution is a necessity. Because at the end of the day, if you're being yourself and you're advocating for yourself and you're standing on your values and your morals, and the other person is doing the same, there's a high likelihood that it's not going to be in alignment. And if it's not in alignment, there's going to be friction. And as a result of that friction, there's going to be conflict that needs to be resolved. So I don't shield my children from conflict. I give it to them in increments and teach them how to actually handle it and how to stay grounded in situation of high conflict. I say all of that to say, I love in action. I don't love in just words. I know exactly what I said when I said I don't want them back. I have 20% custody.
You see, she still has access. I guess visitation, 20%, but they are no longer living with her. Let us continue.
When I say I don't want them back, it's not like, okay, here go your children, I'm going to throw them in the trash, I've rid myself of them. Oh, no. I literally had a psychotic break.
Now, if nothing else makes sense to anyone, I do believe this is the heart of her story. She was having a psychotic break, and she made a decision in the best interest of her children, because it could have turned out really badly for her children. A lot of women go through this and they are ignored and told to deal with it. I am happy she made the right decision. And hopefully the father does not turn out to be a monster in disguise. Let's continue.
The day that I found out that I would have to return them back to Florida. And the reason why I was able to reel myself back and get into the mindset that I needed to get to, because the day that I found this out was the birthday of my oldest. So life continues. Was the fact that first, God is fair. And the minute that I grabbed that razor from the bathroom after the court hearing, my landlord knocked on my door offering me brand new furniture. And I took that as God reassuring me to trust.
There you go. Hopefully she gets the help she needs. But she is always on TikTok. Let us continue.
To have faith, because there's something bigger in the works. Their father may not necessarily be the best man ever, or at least not to my definition. However, they love him. They love their father. And I have never tried to steer them in a way so that they don't love their father. I've always been very honest with my children. I've always been forthcoming with information that they can actually digest. I don't want to overwhelm them. However, I have never gone out of my way to try to make them dislike their father, because that is still 50% of them. 50% of their makeup.
That realization should be enough to motivate both of them to be better parents and to be better people. If you have to co-parent, it should be in the best interest of the children. Putting all your feelings aside, seeking help individually, and prioritizing the children.
I said what I said.
Thanks for watching. Stay safe and be self-aware. See you in the next one.